question on the quality of water. Does it have to be microbe-free? Does it have to be high-level water, or can you just pump river water in?
The water in this part of the system, just there, absolutely has to be microbe-free. And the stuff that actually goes through the core there, also, that is extremely high-quality water, indeed. I mean, there are things we add to the water like boron to control the neutron population further, and in accidents you pour that in to absorb neutrons. So you do things to the water, but that's very, very high-quality water. The stuff at the top just here, whose job is just to sort of, is an evaporation medium, that you wouldn't have to use nearly such high-quality water. That would be a waste of money to do that. What I'm not quite so sure at is in those particular tanks, I think those are sealed tanks, so that would be the same high quality water, I think.
That's all 2,000 ppm boron. That's be reactor grade water.
Yeah, reactor grade water.
You use that. On this design, you use that water when you are flooding up the cavity to refuel the reactor. You use that water for that. So it's interchangeable with the core water.
Yeah. So water and steam, lots of proper chemical engineering, in fact. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the UK nuclear research drivers. By the way, somebody must keep me honest here in terms of the time. I'm doing all right at the moment.
You're doing okay.
Okay, good. Oh, but it's much more interesting to have lots of questions as you're going along. So, what are the UK research drivers at the moment? So, Magnox, it's all about decommissioning and all sorts of interesting decommissioning challenges. Indeed, down here I've mentioned all the civil and military structures and programs, including fast reactors, which again, decommissioning. AGR, it's frankly all about life extension. How much longer can we run AGR, specific AGR reactors, to satisfy the regulator? PWRs, it's all about new build, and then reprocessing. Our future in reprocessing is not clear, but we've talked quite a lot already about fuels containing plutonium as one of the options that we're looking at for using up our civil plutonium. So why this PWR issue? Well, if you look, this is a World Nuclear Association, so this was 2011, so you have to shunt all this along now by 3 years, but I really like this graph. This is these are the number of plants and how long they've been operating for. So you can see there is a whole bunch of plants here which are probably going to fall off the edge relatively soon. And you can see we haven't been building many reactors, although there are a number that will be built, particularly in China. China will build more new nuclear reactors than the rest of the world put together for the next decade at least. So the challenges here are essentially materials challenges. They are about understanding the types of materials that were used to build reactors 40, 45, maybe even 50 years ago, understanding how they will stand up to the temperatures, pressures, the corrosion behavior, and the neutron damage that they've undergone. In the UK in particular, it's the challenge about graphite and our understanding about how graphite behaves. And graphite, because we're the only country to do this, it means that we're putting a lot of effort into understanding graphite. Graphite cracks. In fact, as soon as the reactors went up to power, the graphite cracked. The question isn't whether or not it's cracked, it's where are those cracks? Are they a source of concern for refueling? And AGR reactors can refuel on power as well. We have to drop power a little bit. But what do the cracks do? What is the progression of the cracks? And how do you look at that in an environment that is very hard to get into? Also, it turns out that graphite loses mass over time. So, in fact, the carbon dioxide that we pump around the core has a little bit of methane in it. And that methane reduces the rate at which the reactor core is degraded. And lots of and graphite is a fascinating material. It's like a polymer. You know, you've got the primary structure of the graphite, you've then got all these other structures of how the graphite sheets interweave with each other. And the transmission electron microscopy of graphite materials is just fascinating. It really is. And poorly understood. And not all graphite's the same either. It changes quite a lot. And the early graphite we used is quite different to the later graphite that we used. We just didn't understand that at all at the time. So, in terms of the UK's activities, lots of it is really to do with keeping the reactors going, rather than at the moment looking at Generation 4 designs. There is some effort in Generation 4 designs, but to be honest, at the moment, this is what's really keeping us up at night. Generation 4 designs, if I can be facetious for a moment, are fantastic because they are proliferation resistant, they're more efficient, they produce less waste, and you can get the fuel to burn up to much higher levels, and probably you don't produce that many actinides, and of course none of them have ever been built yet. I mean, slightly facetious there. I am sure that when the reality of building Generation 4 reactors hits, we will find all sorts of materials, issues and problems and challenges that we don't anticipate. Because the one thing you can say about a nuclear system is it's going to find some interesting new challenges for you.
Well, that comment, I've not built, I'd argue the AVR was a Gen 4 reactor.
The AGR?
The AVR.
Ah, right.
And the Chinese are now building two of them.
Yes,
in
okay.
China, and they ran for, the AVR ran for 30 odd years, so I'm not sure that's a nice statement, but it's not necessarily true.
So the Russians, for example, have had fast reactors running for a long time, and sodium-cooled fast reactors. The Indians have had a sodium fast-cooled reactor for 30 years as well. But we'll see how the Indian fast reactor goes. It's coming online a year's time, I think. So yes, I told you I was being facetious. There are Gen 4 designs, and we had fast reactors in the UK, which there were challenges, but actually they did work, but they weren't economic.